There's a door in my house that I've never opened. It's been there since I moved in, tucked away at the end of a long, dark hallway. The realtor had warned me about it. "Don't open that door," she said, her voice low and serious. "It's been sealed for a reason." I didn't ask why. At the time, I thought it was just some old superstition, a relic from a bygone era. But now, I know better. That door is a gateway to something dark, something evil. And I made the mistake of knocking on it. Twice. The first knock. It started innocently enough. I was exploring the house, getting familiar with its nooks and crannies, when I found myself standing in front of the forbidden door. It was old, its wood warped and cracked, with a heavy iron lock securing it shut. There was something about it that drew me in, something that made my skin crawl and my heart race. I don't know what came over me. Maybe it was curiosity, maybe it was boredom, but I reached out and knocked on the door, twice. The sound echoed through the hallway, loud and ominous, and for a moment, I thought I heard something on the other side. A low, guttural growl, like the sound of a beast stirring from its slumber. I stepped back, my heart pounding in my chest. "Hello?" I called out, my voice trembling. There was no response, just silence. I told myself it was nothing, just my imagination playing tricks on me. But deep down, I knew better. Something was on the other side of that door, and it had heard me. The first night. That night I couldn't sleep. Every creak of the floorboards, every gust of wind against the windows, made my heart race. I kept telling myself it was just the old house settling, but I couldn't shake the feeling that I wasn't alone. Around 3 a.m., I heard it, a faint knocking on the door. It was soft at first, almost imperceptible, but it grew louder, more insistent. I sat up in bed, my breath coming in short, panicked gasps. The knocking was coming from the hallway, from the forbidden door. I grabbed my flashlight and crept out of bed, my heart pounding in my chest. The hallway was dark, the air thick with an oppressive silence. I could feel it, the presence of something evil, something that didn't belong in this world. I reached the door and hesitated, my hand hovering over the knob. The knocking stopped, and for a moment, there was silence. Then I heard it, a low, guttural voice coming from the other side of the door. "Let me in," it said. I stumbled back, my heart racing. The voice was cold, emotionless, and it sent a chill down my spine. I turned and ran, locking myself in my bedroom and burying myself under the covers. I didn't sleep that night. The second knock. The next day, I tried to convince myself it was just a dream, a figment of my overactive imagination. But the memory of the voice haunted me, lingering in the back of my mind like a dark cloud. I decided to confront it. I went back to the door, my heart pounding in my chest. I didn't know what I was expecting, maybe some rational explanation, some sign that it was all in my head. But as I stood there staring at the door, I felt it again, the presence of something evil. I reached out and knocked on the door, twice. The sound echoed through the hallway, loud and ominous. And then I heard it, the growl, louder this time, more menacing. "Let me in," the voice said, its tone almost pleading. I stepped back, my hands trembling. "Who are you?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. There was no response, just silence. I turned and ran, locking myself in my bedroom and burying myself under the covers. I didn't sleep that night. The descent. Over the next few days, the house became a living nightmare. The knocking grew louder, more insistent, and the voice became more frequent. It wasn't just at night anymore. It was during the day too. I could hear it in the walls, in the floors, in the air around me. "Let me in," it would say, over and over again. I tried to ignore it, to convince myself it was just my imagination. But the presence was undeniable. It was everywhere, suffocating me, consuming me. One night I couldn't take it anymore. I grabbed a sledgehammer and went to the door, determined to break it down and confront whatever was on the other side. But as I raised the hammer, I heard it, the voice louder and more menacing than ever. "Don't," it said. You don't know what you're dealing with. I hesitated, my hands trembling, and then I swung the hammer. The wood splintered, the lock broke, and the door swung open. What I saw will haunt me for the rest of my life. The gateway. The door opened to a void, a darkness so deep and impenetrable that it seemed to swallow the light. The air was thick with the stench of sulfur, and the temperature dropped suddenly, leaving me shivering. And then I saw them. The shadows. They surged forward, wrapping around me, pulling me into the darkness. I screamed, but no sound came out. The last thing I saw was the door, swinging shut behind me. The aftermath. When I woke up, I was in my bed. The door was still there, still sealed as if nothing had happened. But I knew better. I could feel it. The presence, the evil, still lingering in the air. I tried to leave, to run as far away as I could. But the house wouldn't let me. The doors were locked, the windows barred. I was trapped, a prisoner in my own home. And then I heard it. The voice coming from the hallway. You knocked twice, it said. Now it's time to pay the price. The end. Now I sit here writing this account. The knocking has stopped. The voice has gone silent. But I know it's not over. The door is still there, still sealed, but I can feel it. The presence, the evil waiting. If you're reading this, take it as a warning. Don't knock on the forbidden door. Don't open it, because once you do, there's no going back. And it will never stop coming.